So hello guys, today I'm gonna be talking about more in depth into the updates on everything that's been going on, and also that the test that I had taken I think last week on the N4 test. And how was it? Well, first of all, let's talk about the updates on the visa and stuff. And I mean the COE. I mean, I'm gonna be talking about the COE in Japan is haven't been the release, like the result, or I don't know, haven't been told, like it's still hazy like that. And then I think around last week I just took a test on JTest. I think the test for N4 to N3, I think they say. And to be honest, N4 itself, it's quite difficult. Like, how do I say? More words, like more grammar, more words, and more things like to study, especially. But then, of course, I do study a lot, and I do the test. The test takes around 1 hour and 10 minutes, I think, or 120 minutes, around the time in which the writing and the listening are being combined, I think, with no breaks, I think. And it was difficult, but then I think for me personally, if I predict my score, which will be coming out, I think in the next 2 weeks, I think. It's still like, for me, I think I might fail it. I might fail it, but hopefully I pass. Hopefully I pass. I'm feeling confident that I can pass, but hopefully I can pass. And the breakdown of this test is that, so we have these few parts, like around 8 parts, I think. So the criteria for passing this test will be, number one will be not failing in each of the parts. So like, for example, in part 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, you get full marks, and then part 4 you get 0. Of course you can pass, as they say. And then the second part is that to get the minimum score, which was 50%, and 50% itself is difficult, especially if when you have to, let's just say, score in each of the parts. And well, during the test, I mean, I do really feel that it was very difficult for me to answer it, but at least I answered it. Well, let's finish talking about this test. I mean, I've been explaining about this test, about like how N5, N4, N3, N2, N1 differs, and what's the benefit of getting N5 to and N4 and N3 like that. I mean, the benefit of having N5 is that you can go to like language school, you can apply for visa to go language school like that. But for part-time work, like in at that trying work part-time, or trying to find, I don't know what you call that, internship, I think. N5 itself, it's not enough, or it's not really, it's not like, it's not bad. I mean, you can still go, but there is some higher chances of getting hired as a part-time worker, or as a, I mean, internship. I think it was around N4 and N3. So N4 is better for you for like part-time like that, if you want to but if you get N3, then it will be higher chances. That's why we usually take N4 and N3. But for the the fact is that you have to pass the N5 to get to take N4 and N3. I mean, you can skip N5, but of course, why would you skip it? For me, it's better for you just take N5 and then just go up slowly like that. And then to be able to go to like university and stuff, you have to get N2. But it's better for you to get N1, as you can be really, really like getting the hang of the language. But to be honest, alright, so from bottom of my heart, whether this test N5 to N1 is this really like beneficial for the communication with Japanese, like that in Japanese communication, talking, having chat, especially like at Japan when you go to maybe Japanese university, or maybe when you go to, I don't know, like speaking with Japanese. Well, personally, these tests, I mean, it's beneficial in some ways, but it's also not really beneficial in other ways. It's, how do I say? You can learn a lot of words in Japanese, like vocabs, like that grammar. You can know like when you use what you use, but it's different when you try to apply to the real world, which means that, let's just say you want to speak to any Japanese person, or maybe speak someone in Japanese language. When that happen, you have to really break it down. Like like for example, you have to really break down every single layer of it to really get to listen and speak back at the same time. Like for example, when you are speaking in English, when you're talking, like chatting, you listen and directly answer. But that's in because Japanese in itself, it's freaking difficult. So that's why you have to be really like train yourself, to be honest. Like of course, like for me, if I'm gonna be honest, staying in any other country, like in the other country, learning Japanese language and then not using it, like not like using every day, it's difficult. Almost similar to Chinese, but I think it's more difficult in Japanese. And Japanese, the only reason I would say this because of the number of grammar that they will use, like the same thing but in different ways they will use, and then especially the formal, non-formal, and then the what you call, let's just say you want to use a word like necessary where, and then there's different types of where, and those type of where would use for different types of things like hat and then shirt and then pants, maybe different types of grammar for where. It's difficult, but once you move there, once you really get the experience like speaking to Japanese, you can really like understand their way of talking, their way of chatting. Like for example, when you are talking to anyone, like speaking to your friends like that, and to your siblings, and then to your parents or to your teachers, you need to use different types of Japanese, of course, like formal, non-formal, and then some. But you would get used of it when you move there, if you can speak with it, using it every day, like speaking Japanese. But if you don't really use it a lot, even if you move there, like you can only understand the words, but you can't really like speak it comfortably. Like for me personally, I once I moved there, my aim is just to really speak comfortably, and part-time does help a lot. part that's why doing part-time works does help a lot in communication, especially like you can work with maybe some local Japanese people and then speak to them, or maybe you have to sell, you're in the cashier and have to like tell everything, you have to use Japanese every day. Another way of doing it is going out, which is, well, with this current situation of pandemic, like it's quite difficult like to talk in Japanese, and problems will always come. But I would really say that if, let's just say, we are not in COVID situation, maybe we could do use it every day, like speaking Japanese, going out, like that could help. But in this COVID situation, I think it won't really benefit in some ways, especially risking your health just to improve your Japanese is not right, I think. And then the last way is that maybe just learn Japanese like comfortably. Don't be really pressured to be learning it. Just like once you get past N5 or N4, then you have to don't like learn it very stressful. Like have to remember those words. To be honest, remembering those words for the N5, N4, N3 certificate wasn't really useful, but it's useful for you to just use it on, like, let's just say when you're trying to make sentence, use it like not every day, but use it often, like for example work, and then think important words that you need for everyday life. You can really use it like not each day every day, but just use it like until you get the hang of it. Like you don't, it's becoming something like you can just write it out. You don't need to really think, "Oh, what's the word," like that. But then like, of course, it's everything depends on how you are gonna study Japanese in the end, and how fast are you gonna study it. And then next we'll be talking about let's talk about the Olympic. I think they already confirmed it that the what you call that, the government, Japanese government say that the foreign visitors who are planning to go and watch Olympics will not be allowed, I think. But I don't know if that will apply to students, to where what you call the foreign worker, or to business person who will come to Japan to just work like that. I don't know, as I say. And then what else? Oh yeah, so again, earthquake happened in Wakayama, I think, in Japan, south part of Japan near the Osaka, I think around like the magnitude of 4.7, and then it was near Wakayama, near Osaka, I think, Wakayama, and then it was quite big actually, from what I heard. And because of the earthquake, I think there's some anime that was being delayed. I heard Attack on Titan final season got delayed, so we would have two episodes back to back on the this week or next week, I think. And I think that's all for the news and things that and updates. I think for now, I mean, I don't know if, I mean, next week, I don't know if like this week have been really monotonous, I would say, for everything to have not, like, not everything happening is really like hype me up or just monotone. But hopefully next week we're gonna be more hype of something, some topics to talk about. So for now, guys, see you guys next Sunday, I think, around that time, or Monday, to talk about more anime. See you guys.